Dear Dean of London Business School, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Felipe Doña. I am one of the co-chairs of the Latin America Business Forum 2015. It is an honor to welcome you to the 10th edition of the Latin America Business Forum. During the past 10 years, the LABF has grown to become one of the most relevant conferences about Latin America in the UK and in Europe. Latin America is a region of contrasts. The mix of its cultural heritage and colonial influence and the sheer size of the region have shaped Latin America's unique culture, society, and character. During the past 20 years, we have seen how Latin America's economy boomed and how the region improved in terms of human development. According to the United Nations Development Program, only between the year 2000 and 2012, the middle class in Latin America grew from 21 to 34% of the population, and poverty nearly halved from 42 to 25%. This is a significant regional achievement. We need to decide now on the best way to capitalize on what we have achieved. However, this impressive development brought with it new challenges and new business opportunities. As Latin American society progresses, it demands more not only in terms of increasing wealth, but also in terms of access to quality education, access to quality healthcare, stronger institutions, and better distribution of income and wealth. In other words, Latin Americans do not only want a bigger pie, they want a better pie. This is why we have chosen the theme, Challenges for the Next Decade. We want to foster the debate on what is required in Latin America to get us closer to a fuller and more holistic human development. Trying to better assess and understand the impact of these challenges, in this edition of the forum, we have 5 keynote addresses and 2 panel discussions, one focusing on how to improve competitiveness and productivity, and the other on how to achieve sustainable and equitable growth. I would like to give a special thanks to our sponsors, Falconi Consulting, Credicorp, Comparabien, and Crowdbank, and to our strategic partner, Canning House. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the entire organizing team of the Latin America Business Forum, the Latin America and Brazil Club's teams, and the volunteers who have made this day possible. On behalf of all of them, I invite you to enjoy the forum, and I wish you a most interesting day full of very stimulating debate. Without any further delay, please join me to welcome the Dean of London Business School, Professor Sir Andrew Lickerman, to officially open the Latin America Business Forum 2015.
Thank you very much indeed, Felipe, and good morning, an extremely warm welcome to visitors to the school. Delighted to see a number of alumni here back at the school, and of course, a warm welcome too to the students who are here. I'm delighted that we're joined today by a number of diplomatic representatives from the embassies of Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Ecuador, Nicaragua, Panama, Paraguay, and Uruguay. And I'm delighted that they have given their stamp, as it were, by coming here today. So thank you very much for giving up your valuable time. I feel it's entirely appropriate that, we should be sitting here, because 300 meters in that direction is the house of Admiral Cochrane, who played an important part in the early 19th century in the liberation of South America, and 300 meters that way lived José de San Martín during his stay in London. I know London played a great part in that sense in fostering those who achieved the liberation of a lot of Latin America, and it's very nice for me to see the blue plaques all over London in that way, and for us to be here. I'm also very pleased because what happens in Latin America is very important for the rest of the world, and it's important for us at the London Business School. We have increasing links with Latin America. I'll say a little bit more about that in a moment. But also, in terms of the theme chosen today, I congratulate the organizers in thinking about this, because it's quite clear that, as always, Latin America is in a very interesting position. It's, in terms of the movements on commodities, it provides particular challenges for a number of the Latin American economies. And after a significant period of economic growth, we've got some particular challenges there. There's also the manifestation of the differences in approach within Latin America itself. I'm thinking here particularly of the way in which last May, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, and Peru signed their tariff reduction agreement as a manifestation of one way to do it. And on the other side, we've got some very strongly state-controlled economies, and that provides a very dramatic difference in approach. People in the press often talk about a divide in Latin America. I'm sure the speakers today will be much more sophisticated in their approach. We know perfectly well this is not a single continent with a single approach. There are many different things going on, and I think it's important for everybody who works in Latin America, as it were, particularly those who are not in the region, to understand just what the differences are between the different parts of the continent. So I think this is a very, very appropriate subject for the conference today. I mentioned that we have increasing interest ourselves in Latin America. I was in Sao Paulo recently, and I must tell you, in terms of a world record in Sao Paulo, I would vote the traffic jam as being a world beater, all right? I must tell you, they are very proud of their traffic jams in Mumbai, but I must tell you, Sao Paulo beats them easily in that respect. In terms of our student body, 8% of our students come from Latin America. That's a significant increase, and indeed the proportion is increasing all the time, and I'm delighted about this, because my sense is that I would very much want a strong presence of our alumni in Latin America. And so I very much welcome the fact that many students are choosing not to go to where they traditionally perhaps went, to the United States for postgraduate education, but to come to Europe in general and the London Business School in particular. And I'm also delighted that the Latin American Brazil clubs have such a strong presence on campus. For those who are not familiar with the school, I should say that we have a number of precise links with Latin America. For example, the executive MBA students carry out an international assignment in Latin America each year, and this last year was to Argentina, and looking at aspects of the way the continent operates. And this year, I'm delighted that we have a new, the new aspects of our full-time MBA program, the Global Business Experience, where students spend a week in a city outside the UK. And this year, we've got, for the first time, a group going to Peru, led by Dominic Holder and Richard Jolly. So that, again, for me, is an important element of cementing our links with the region. I'm also very pleased. Of course, we are very sad to lose, students who don't want to work in the UK. Unlike the government, sometimes, I very much welcome the fact that people stay in the UK. But also because, our feeling is if we can help to contribute to the development of Latin America by giving people an education here and getting them going back to Latin America and making a contribution to the continent, that's something that I feel we can be very, very proud of. It's interesting, but over the years, we've developed a number of cases involving Latin American companies, Natura, Ambev in Brazil. My colleague Numala Kuma was looking at brands in relation to Colombia and Mexico, looking at how they break out of their local markets and go more widely. And also, our alumni are very involved in setting up businesses increasingly. 3 students who met on a program here in 2013 have set up Fresh Forecast, which is this venture which aggregates market data for the international trade of fruit and vegetables and provides short-term forecasts of supply and demand. And last year, this venture won an award. It's interesting, just to give an illustration of the way things work here, the 3 founders, one came from Nicaragua, one came from Romania, and the other came from Brazil. That's the kind of international spread this school is very, very proud of. And Leo Schlesinger, who graduated in 2000, is Chief Executive of Macisa, Mexico. This is an integrated forestry, chemicals, and retail leader. I think you already mentioned the fact that this issue of the the divide, as it were, the income divide as an issue here for the continent is something I know he's very preoccupied with. So in terms of content, in terms of students, in terms of approach, we feel very close to Latin America, and I very much hope these links will grow. So can I thank very much those who have organized this conference, the student leaders who I know put a lot of work into making sure this is an interesting conference for people to come to. Thank you very much to those who are going to speak who are already here. A number of people will be coming during the course of the day. Thank you also to the sponsors and partners. And thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. I'm sure it's going to be a fascinating day. So I've my great pleasure now to introduce the first speaker, Firsan Lambrano. And he's the first keynote. He's the chairman and member of the board of GP Investments. This is a firm he joined more than 17 years ago. And before this, he was CEO of Logios Americanis. In terms of his career, also he's chairman of the board of Centauro Magnesita and has served on the boards of a host of companies from real estate and retail to telecommunications and asset management. He's also on the board of several not-for-profit entities, such as Fundacio Bienal de São Paulo. That's an art exhibition organization. So with these many qualifications, please join me in welcoming Ms. Lambrano to the stage. Thank you very much.